everyone, Jedimanda here to give you another sewing video for the week. As we're continuing our work through the month of May with Pattern Month, I thought I would give you guys this really simple tip from how to transfer marks from your pattern to your fabric, or if you decide to not cut out your paper pattern out of the whole paper itself, how to show you to basically transfer from the whole piece of paper to other paper or fabric. The most common way people use patterns and transferring marks is simply just to cut out the pattern from the big paper that you get in a simple pattern envelope and then pin that to the fabric and then just cut it out. That's what I would say like 99.99999% of people do. But a lot of people really don't like to do that. And also a lot of people use these patterns as a base and then create their own patterns from that, especially if you decide to drape your own patterns, or what a lot of cosplayers do, and what I do, is use this as a base and then make a whole different pattern kind of actually from that pattern itself. So it requires a new set of patterns. I know the word pattern is being thrown around like a whole lot right now. But some really easy ways to do that if you decide to make your own pattern from a base pattern is to transfer marks onto another piece of paper. And what I use is newsprint. A lot of people use tissue paper, which is very similar to this, or a heavier cardstock paper, or pretty much just anything you can get your hands on that will accept marks through your tracing wheels. Earlier on in the other videos, I think one of the videos that I had, we talked about tracing wheels, but once again, these are the really kind of pizza cutter, mini pizza cutter looking things that come in a lot of sewing kits that most people really don't use, but it's exactly used for this moment that I'm teaching you right now. So let me show you guys how to easily transfer marks from your paper pattern to your new pattern paper. Here's a really simple way to transfer marks, darts, notches, and basically the whole pattern itself onto a separate piece of paper using your tracing wheel. Honestly, it's exactly how it looks. You take your pattern, place it over the paper you want to transfer it onto, take your tracing wheel, and literally just run over the lines, notches, darts that you want to transfer. Right now I'm transferring a dart. Oh, it's also very helpful to have this pattern weighted down so it doesn't move on you while you're transferring marks. So right now I'm actually transferring a dart onto this paper below using my tracer wheel. And I'm pushing down and making some pretty good notches, because what you're going to do is once this is lifted, you're going to trace it over with a pencil and then it's going to have your mark. So when you're patterning and when you're learning to pattern, you really want to pay attention to all the little details that are within the pattern. So I have that traced. I'll move my weights here, move the pattern. Pattern should still be fine, nothing done to it except little bitty holes. But if you look really close, you can actually see dotted lines that have been transferred from your pattern to your paper. So all you do right now is just grab a ruler, grab a pencil, and connect the dots. And there we go, we have our transferred dart onto our new pattern paper for our fabric. Another thing that people also use is transfer paper. Transfer paper, or Taylor's transfer paper, or something you can really easily get at Joann's. It's basically a wax paper with, it's kind of like carbon copy paper, if you guys are familiar with that. You draw on one side and then under that paper side, the marks are transferred. People use this a lot to transfer like notch marks or darts that are in other paper patterns on directly to their fabric. It's really helpful and saves a lot of time from doing little hand sewn notches or trying to eyeball where you think that notch was. Using something like transfer paper is really, really helpful, and I'll show you guys how to do that right now. So once you have your fabric, we're just going to use scraps that we did, and we're going to transfer the same dart that we did earlier. Once you have your fabric laying down, your pattern cut out, take a little bit of your transfer paper. You really don't need a lot because this can be reused several places. So what I like to do is cut out a square or a rectangle that is, you know, less than a foot, kind of small, that I can use to transfer the marks with. So you don't need a whole sheet of transfer paper when you're using this. This particular brand, the Sorrel brand, is really, how how can I put this? It comes off very easily. A lot of the brands that you can buy in Joann's stores doesn't come off as easily, which is ideal for fabric. This is more for like drawing transfers or transfers onto harder surface, not necessarily fabric, but you definitely can use it. It just comes off easier. But here we go. Let's go ahead and transfer that dart. So you have your pattern, your transfer paper underneath, and then your fabric underneath that. Take your tracing wheel, do the same thing we did earlier. Now let's lift the pattern, lift your transfer paper, and boom. You can see clearly, there's your dart. So I just gave you two really easy ways to transfer your notches, marks, and patterns itself onto fabric and new pattern paper. If you guys have any questions on how to transfer patterns to your fabric or paper, comment below and I will gladly help. Also, if you guys have any suggestions about patterning or any other video topics, please comment below also. And that's it for this week. I'll see y'all next week. Bye!